I know I'm not supposed to buy any books, but hear me out. It was super cheap. What's up, y'all? My name is Jess. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this mini book haul. If you've watched my reading goals video, then you know I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban unless I've already read the book or I think I'm 100% going to love them. But I also live 5 minutes away from a used bookstore with the cheapest prices I've ever seen in my life, so here we are. Also, I don't feel like I need to justify spending my own money, but last month I went through a pretty rough patch where I worked literally every single day for almost 3 weeks, and immediately afterwards my hours got cut, so I needed a little bit of a serotonin boost, and that's where all of these books came in. The first books I got were the entire Twilight series. Y'all already know what this series is about. Since Midnight Sun was published, Twilight has had a bit of a resurgence, and this has led to my best friend and I having quite a few debates on whether or not Bella and Edward's relationship is toxic. I'm on the side of it is toxic, but she has recently reread the series, and I haven't read them since I was like 12. Part of the reason I wanted this series was honestly very petty. I kind of just wanted to reread them to be able to substantiate my arguments in this debate. In my defense, I also didn't buy these books myself. My boyfriend actually bought them for me as a gift after hearing me talk about wanting them for a while, so would I have bought them myself anyway? Yes, but I technically didn't, so it doesn't count. Also, this whole set, 4 hardcover books, cost $1 in total, all 4 of them. Does it really matter what the books are at that point? Next up, I have another classic teen vampire romance series. I got the final 2 books in the Vampire Academy series, Spirit Bound and Last Sacrifice. Now this series I actually love. I was never a Twilight person. Vampire Academy was my trashy teen vampire romance series of choice, but I never actually read the last 2 books. I read the first 4 after they had already come out, but I waited too long to get the last 2 books, and by the time I got around to it and thought, hey, maybe I should finish out the series, they had already changed the covers. I couldn't find these covers in stores anymore, and I hate the new covers. I'm sorry, in my heart, this is a trashy teen romance series. I want them to look like trashy teen romance series. I refused to get the last 2 books or read them until I found the last 2 in the original covers. And by chance, I found both of them in the used bookstore. Literally 2 of the first books that I saw when I walked in, and I was so happy. You have no idea. I think I almost cried in that bookstore. The next book I got was The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. This is a romance book that takes place over a 24-hour time span. Our main character Hadley missed the flight to go to her father's wedding, and so she has to stay overnight at the airport. There, she meets Oliver and they hit it off. I actually read this book a few years ago, and I remember falling in love with it. I'm pretty sure I read this book in one sitting. Granted, it's pretty short, so that's not a huge feat, but I literally couldn't put it down. Unfortunately, I borrowed it from a friend, so I didn't own it and I never got around to buying it. I'm very glad I managed to find this. Honestly, the bookstore that I went to is kind of very disorganized, and I found pretty much every other Jennifer E. Smith book before I found this one, and I was getting a little disheartened by that, but finally found it. I'm so happy about it. I'm probably going to read this in December. I want to get more into romance, but I'm thinking of saving some romances for December because that's when my anniversary is, and I kind of want to, you know, build up the romance beforehand. If you guys have any suggestions for other romance books I should read in December, please let me know. Next up, I have Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I read her Lunar Chronicle series at the beginning of this year for the very first time, and I loved it. It reignited my love for YA, and I'm so excited to read more books by her because I just loved it. I loved it. This book is sort of a prequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and it follows a woman named Catherine who later becomes the Queen of Hearts. I quite literally know nothing else about the book, to be honest with you. I've heard great things about this book from other booktubers in the past, and again, I loved her writing, so I have high hopes for this one. Plus, I love Alice's Adventures in Wonderland anyway, so anything to do with that is probably right up my alley. Before I move on though, I want to show you this book naked. I've seen the cover everywhere, I've always loved the cover, but I don't think I've ever seen booktubers show what it looks like under the dust jacket, and if I have, I don't remember it because I was shocked when I took the dust jacket off this book. Look at that. Are you kidding me? I feel like it's a bold statement to say that it's better than The Dust Jacket, but I think it might be better than The Dust Jacket, and I can't believe I have never seen it before. Granted, there is a note inside this book that shows it was originally sold in Target, so maybe this was a Target exclusive cover and that's why I've never heard of it, but either way, this book is gorgeous and I am so happy to have it. Next up, we have Legend by Marie Lu. This is a classic YA dystopian. You have June, who is a military prodigy born to an elite family, and you have Day, one of the most wanted criminals in the country. Their paths have no reason to cross until June's brother is murdered and Day becomes the prime suspect. Before I went into the used bookstore, I knew that I wanted to try out Marie Lu's writing, but I'll be honest with you, I was really more interested in her Warcross series. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it, but I found this instead, and that's good enough for me. It was only a couple dollars and I can still taste test her writing style and see if it suits me. Next, I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I really don't know anything about this plot, and Goodreads is pretty vague about it too, so I'm mostly going into this book blind. What I do know is that a lot of people praise this book for its representation of anxiety, and that's what I'm mostly interested in. I and many of my friends suffer from anxiety to varying degrees, so I'm really interested to see how it's portrayed in this book. If it's as good as people say, then I want to be able to recommend it to my friends who I know would appreciate having their emotions put into words. And the final book I have is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. This book has been hyped up by BookTube a lot, and it sounds like it's up my alley, so I'm hoping it won't disappoint me. In this world, a set of triplets is born. Each sister has an equal claim to the throne, and they each have a unique set of magic. One of them is an elemental, one of them has an affinity for poison, and the other can control nature and animals. When the sisters turn 16, the fight for the throne begins. The last sister alive gets the crown. Again, I'm hoping this doesn't disappoint me. I'm hoping for a bit of a darker vibe, so wish me luck. Those are all of the books I got. There aren't many, and I know none of them are recent releases, so I hope y'all enjoyed it anyway. If any of you read any of these books, please comment below and let me know what you thought. And please, 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 do not call me out on breaking my book buying ban literally only a couple weeks after posting a whole video mentioning that I do not want to buy more books. I am a weak soul, and in my defense, all of these books, minus one, is hardcover, and in total, I paid a little bit over $20 for that. Can you blame me? Alright, that's it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. I mention it at the end of every video. I'll see you in the next one, y'all.